Hari Om, Vanakkam, Swagatam to each and every one of you. Today, we welcome you to the third day's talk of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga. Chinmaya Devotees Society KL is privileged to bring this to you all, this whole series, which is there until tomorrow. Same time, same Zoom. There is, however, a special announcement to be made. Guru Dakshina is a way for us to express our gratitude for this knowledge and to help propagate the work done towards making it more available to all of you. Should you like to make an offering as a Guru Dakshina, the QR code and account details are on screen. You can see that. Yeah, that's our QR code. We have also shared it in the chat. If you would like to see that, you can make a standard online transfer or through scanning the QR code on the applicable apps. Please refer to the YouTube video on our handle Chinmaya Malaysia in case you need to see the account details again. It will be available on the YouTube. You can get to see it on our Chinmaya Malaysia handle. So thank you once again for being here, and we are honored and privileged to have with us Swami Supriyananda ji, who will explain the verses beautifully with so much love, sweetness, and devotion. So eagerly waiting to hear today's session. Welcome, Swamini ji.
Hey. Sahana vavatu sahana bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahe tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramartanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. The infinite Lord is infinitely compassionate. And so we see here in this few verses of chapter 12, starting in verse number 8, that he is explaining how we can progress on our spiritual path. And so fix your mind on me, fix your intellect on me. And this is for somebody who has already worked on themselves a fair bit and, removed a lot of the vasana pressures, and their mind is able to stay poised in meditation. which isn't too many of us. And so for those of us who have a little bit more vasana pressure, meaning desires that come up in our hearts, and we get distracted by things that are happening in our lives and comments that people make, and even our own ambitions or our own fears, and that causes restlessness in our minds, then those people are abhyasa. So, I mean, not that there's a number, but Gurudev would say these people may be 40% vasana pressure. So they've already dealt with 60. And now to get to that 20% vasana pressure where we can fix our mind completely on the Lord, then we have to do this abhyasa, this constant practice. But, sometimes vasanas have been accumulated for so many thousands of lives that we have way more than just 40% vasana pressure. And so Guruji, Swami Tejamayanaji, gives this really cute example. And, when he would travel around the world, his sleep patterns were disrupted. And so he used to say, sometimes when you want to fall asleep, you put your head on the pillow and you think, and you fall asleep. And so mind surrendered to sleep, intellect surrendered to sleep, and completely absorbed in sleep would be number 8. I mean, of course, we wanted to be completely absorbed in meditation, but, for purpose of example, then it's mayeva mana adatsva may buddhim niveshaya. But sometimes we get to bed and we're tired. We want to sleep, but we toss and then turn and toss this way, change the blanket, then pluff the pillow, and then toss again. And so this tossing and turning to try and get ourselves into a comfortable point to go to sleep is abhyasa. You keep doing what you can until finally you get absorbed in sleep. But sometimes you toss, you turn, nothing happening. Sleep is just not coming. So you get up and do something productive and useful. And so that's exactly the next step. And so some people will say this is karma yoga. But remember earlier we saw that the spirit of the action has to be filled with love. And so karma and bhakti are not so separate. Dedicating our actions and having that sense of serving the Lord is bhakti. It's also karma. And they work beautifully together. And so we are seeing verse number 10. Abhyasepi samartosi.
Abhyasepya samarthosi.
Matkarma paramo bhava.
Matkarma paramo bhava.
Madartamapi karmani.
Madarthamapi karmani.
Kurvam siddhim avapsyasi.
Kurvan siddhimavapsyasi.
Abhyasopi samartosi. If I'm not able to do this even this constant taking my mind back, and in the seat of meditation, it's just restlessness instead of a meditation, or as Guruji says, agitation instead of meditation, then we perform our duties. And so, mat karma paramo bhava. Do all your actions as a dedication to me. And so this is the step 3. Okay? Do all your actions as a dedication to me. So now when I'm dedicating something to a person, firstly, I'll make sure they're going to like it. Right? Even in our world, when we dedicate a song, when we dedicate a project, we make, if it's for that person, it should be what that person likes. And usually when we're doing it for somebody else, we make sure it's of a good quality, right? And we package it well, we present it beautifully. Like if at our own home, we're going to cook that dish and eat it, then take care, out of the pot also sometimes we'll eat. But you're taking it to somebody's house, you will put it in such a nice plate, you will make sure you put the garnishing on top, you will wipe out all the spills and the splashes. So here, when I am acting for the Lord, number 1, what will I do is very important. Because I'm dedicating into the Lord, it has to be the right action. And we know the right action is our duties, our nitya karma and our naimittika karma, the things that we've already taken so much from the world and time to give back to the world. These are things that are our responsibilities. These are things that we have to shoulder this responsibility and do it well. So actions that are dharmic and actions that are my duty. And then to do it in the spirit of, this is for you, my Lord. And so it's from the very onset, right? Even before doing the action, I'm thinking of the Lord and I'm thinking how to do it so it's the best offering that I can make to the Lord. And then lastly, because it's for the Lord, I'm not expecting anything. So if something should come my way, the way we would accept prasad. You know, we've been having a lot of people coming, Ganesh Chaturthi, here to the ashram, and they just want to visit. And also the Balvihar has just started, so a lot of parents coming to pay the fees or collect the materials. And so then sometimes it's logistics, you know, how much this, that, and they're on their way out and I'll be like, oh, take prasad. And immediately, it's amazing. Immediately, the entire physiologic changes. Immediately, there's this putting the hands together and the head bowing, prasad. Right? Before that, I'm doing this, did you get the right box? Is this person in the right class? Is this? But the minute we think of the Lord, that the bhav in us changes. And you know, and some people, they'll be so lost in their thought, they're on their phone, and the minute I say, oh, wait, take prasad, there's this like, oh, yeah, prasad. There's almost like this visible gratitude that's on their face. And what's prasad? Some nuts, some fruit, as if we've never had that before. But it's not the item. It's the feeling of the Lord is blessing me and I am receiving that blessings. And so here I do all my actions as a dedication to the Lord. And then whatever comes, I am accepting the Lord's blessings into my life. And so this is karma yoga. This is worship. Worship is not just the ritual of putting flowers on the murti and burning the camphor. Worship is I do everything for you, my Lord. And the perfect example of this is Hanumanji. And Hanumanji's stories and glories, we can go on forever. So I'm not going to go into it too much, but everything he did, Jai Shri Ram, he started and every iota of his body was saying Ram as he did the action. And the action was done with such incredible efficiency. And always successful because of that spirit of it's for Sri Ram. And it's not even Hanumanji thinks, I'm going to do it. Hanumanji is just thinking, oh, Ram needs it to be done. I will be here and he will do. I'm an instrument. He will do. I just have to be here for the Lord to do. And so, mat karma api. Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. Mat karma api. Mat karma paramo bhava. That attitude that he is the supreme. And, you know, the important thing here in our lives is the step one. What is it that we should be doing? That we tend to have very romantic notions of what it is we should be doing. Just our regular work. We have to clean the house. We have to make phone calls. We have to send the emails. We have to keep the body healthy. We have to maintain good relationships with each other. We have to be conscientious in whatever things that are given to me in my care. Doesn't have to be something, we tend to think it has to be something very big or something very is changing the world. But And even if I have to give somebody water the way I would do it, sometimes the glass is all wet and messy, and that's no big deal, actually. And then we give it, but we can wipe the outside, make sure and present it in a plate, and then give it. Because if I was giving it to the Lord, how would I give it? Yeah, and it's such a simple act. Or even combing my own hair. And I'm doing it for the Lord. It doesn't have to be fancy and grand, but neat, presentable, as much as each one's hair allows it to be. And so, but to the best we can is this matkaramo paramabaha. And so whatever it is we're doing, do it really well and just stay focused on doing it really well. And then the next thing we're doing, do it really well and stay focused on really. There's a really nice story I'd heard that this village was being given this task that they had to cover a piece of land with concrete, and then they would be rewarded with funds from the government. And so it was a rural area, and there was a well, and they thought, okay, so we have to fill up the well and get it ready and put concrete over everything. And they had a time limit. If you had done it by this time, you will get the reward and you will get compensated for your work in addition to the reward. So they were working really fast. And as they were working really fast, there was a donkey that was helping them, and he fell into the well because he was too close to the well. And so initially, the panic that, okay, let's try and get him out. And so they did, but a little bit tricky to try and lift the donkey out of the well. And the donkey also doesn't know how to do it. And so then after a while, they thought, you know what, we just really want the money and we have to anyways fill up the well. So so be it. And so they had decided that they will just bury the donkey into the well. And so they started shoveling sand into the well. And the donkey kind of almost like he realized that they've given up on him and they're throwing sand. And so it whines and it's screaming and it's crying, and they hear this and they're feeling it. And then they're thinking, oh. And then after a while, they're silent and they think, did he die already? And they peeped into the well to see what he's doing. And every time all the sand landed on him, he shook it and then he stamped on it and made sure he was higher. And they kept throwing sand into the well because anyways, they were filling up the well. He kept shaking it off and he kept stamping on it until before long, he was high enough to jump over the well. And they were quite amused at how he almost held his head and walked off. We superimposed probably, but so beautiful. We feel that life is constantly throwing rubbish at us. This one saying something, this challenge comes now, global pandemic, as if I didn't have enough problems to deal with. Right? And then we cry and we whine and we complain and we think, poor me, why me? But this is the essence of karma yoga. Just keep doing what you have to do. And you get to a point where you can jump to your own freedom. How beautiful is that? And because in the spirit of karma yoga, when I'm completely dedicating my actions to the Lord, my mind is getting purified. And in that purified mind, I don't even have to go and study the scriptures. Wisdom is already being revealed to me because I have already the sincerity in my actions itself. And so if I'm not sitting and meditating, but I am sincerely working in the world in the spirit of dedicating my action, and that's important, then it's as good. It's as good as. And here the Lord he's not saying, I like the people who meditate. I don't like the ones who do this. Everybody, he loves everybody. And if you can't do that, it's okay, beta, do this. And that's this infinite compassion that we see on him. And then we think, yeah, I want to be like Hanumanji, and off we go. And we're dedicating the actions, except no, my mind wasn't thinking of the Lord when I was acting. It actually started thinking about the holiday I wanted to be having. Oops. It says, okay, this is what you do then. And verse number 11. Pichi.
अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि
अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि
कर्तुं मद्योगमाश्रितः
कर्तुं मद्योगमाश्रितः
सर्वकर्मफलत्यागम्
सर्वकर्मफलत्यागम्
ततः कुरु यतात्मवान्.
ततः कुरु यतात्मवान्. And so when we can't even focus completely while we're doing, it's not a total dedication to the Lord, even though we want it to be a total dedication to the Lord. And then, of course, sometimes we have this idea, wait a minute, I'm working so much. Shouldn't I also get something out of this? And where's my share in this? And so if that feeling kind of comes into our heart, then we're not thinking about the Lord so much. And then what should we do? Karma phala tyagam. So beautiful. Even for you, there is something to do. And what is this? Well, you do the whole action. And after you do the action, then you renounce. Tyaga is to renounce. The phala. And the perfect example of this is the trees. So the trees take the nutrients from the ground and they build itself, and then it feeds the leaves, and then the leaves feed the flowers, and then the flowers die and it becomes the fruit. And the entire time the tree is taking the sunlight, the tree is taking the air, the tree is taking the nutrients from the earth, and it's creating this delicious fruit. And then once the fruit is created, what does the tree do? Let it go. And so Bhagavan says, be like a tree. Do the actions, make that fruit really beautiful and delicious, and then let it go. And so here the idea is, in the previous verse, I wake up thinking, Bhagavan, this is for you. And the whole time I'm doing it, Bhagavan, this is for you. But here, no, I'm thinking about myself. I'm thinking about family. I'm thinking about friends. I'm thinking about enemies. I'm thinking about everything. And then at the end, I'll say, okay, now, Bhagavan, whatever you want, you give. I did my best. Now I leave the rest to you. This is the term Gurudev would constantly use to describe phala, karma phala. Where'd it go? Karma phala tyagam. Do your best, leave the rest. And because we don't really know. Like sometimes we really want something, but then when we get it, we think, oh. Or sometimes we really don't want something. We're praying so hard, Bhagavan, no, don't give me that. Anything but that. And Bhagavan will give us that only. And then we think, really? And then after a while, we think, oh, really? You were right, Bhagavan. Sorry. And so we don't know. And there's a really nice story which is quite well known that Gurudev himself used to say. There was a family that owned a farm, and those days horses, cows, and all of that, they were the wealth. And the horse ran away. And so all the neighbors came and told the farmer, "You poor thing, this is so horrible. You've lost your horse." And the farmer said, "Let us see." And they thought, great yogi this one is, very samatwan. And then after a few days, the horse returned with a whole, pack of horses? Group, buddies. He brought a whole lot of buddies with him, girlfriend, and then her whole family. So like now he had 5 horses instead of 1. So the whole village came to see, and they said, "Wow, you're so lucky. Instead of 1 horse, now you have 6. This is amazing." And he said, "Let us see." And then his son thought, these new horses, let's break them in. And so he tried to ride one of the new horses who weren't used to being domesticated. And the horse flipped, and the son fell and broke his leg. And he was in this cast, and he couldn't move, and he couldn't help his father. And the whole village came to visit the farmer and said, "Oh, no, this is terrible. Your son has been hurt." And the farmer said, "Let us see." And 2 weeks after that, some unrest broke out in the nearby villages, and the government took all the young men to fight in the war. But this son couldn't go because he was injured. And the whole village came and said, wow, you're so lucky. And he replied, let us see. We want so many things, and that's fine. Bhagavan is saying at this level, where it's karma phala tyaga, you want so many things, fine, you can want so many things. But at least let us have the faith that we don't know what's best for us. So we work. We can ask for whatever it is we want to ask for, but then we accept what it is we guess. You know, in Puja Vidhi also, we take a sankalpa when doing the puja. Om Namo Partha Samasta Duridaksha Dwara. We do this whole thing on this auspicious day. I'm praying to this Lord in this way and for, and then you get to ask whatever it is you want to ask for. Even catered into our worship ceremony. Ask if you want to. But I always teach this to the Balvihar kids and say this whenever anyone is doing puja and taking the sankalpa. When asking, just add this one thing. Please give me, and then ask whatever it is you want for, if it's good for me. And why should I add that if it's good for me? Because then at least in my mind, I open the possibility that maybe it's not good for me and maybe I won't get it, and that's fine. And that's karma phala tyaga. Work towards whatever it is you want. But in your heart, be ready to accept not getting it. And, you know, sometimes we confuse God's role. We think God is a wish fulfiller. What is good? This is his job. What's his job? To give me everything I want. Huh? Where is that written that that's Bhagwan's job? What's written is he is our well-wisher. May not be fulfilling our wishes, but definitely helping us along in our path. There's a beautiful incident in the Bhagavatam. Sri Krishna has these people that have come to visit him in Dwarka, Prasannajit and Sarajit, and they were these brothers, and they had this incredible jewel, and the jewel is Saimantika. I can't really pronounce it very well. Money, and it's called a money because it shines, and it's from one of the other kingdoms, you know, the Naga kingdoms or the Yaksha kingdoms, because it has incredible powers. And this jewel, one of the brothers was wearing it and walking around, and everybody was praising it. And the minute Krishna saw it, he said, "Oh, this is not good," because he knew that the power of this jewel is that it produced 8 bars of gold every single day. And so he goes to the brothers and say, please keep it safely in the government treasury. Don't wear it around like this. And they didn't know, you know, Krishna is just, no need. It's ours, we'll do what we want to. And so one day, one of the brothers went out into the forest wearing the jewel, and a lion kills him. So this, I think, was Sarajit was wearing the jewel, or Parajit. One of them was wearing the jewel and the lion killed him. And then the other brother thought, why isn't my brother back and where's the jewel? Krishna was eyeing the jewel. Krishna must have killed my brother and taken the jewel. And so one of the reasons the story gets told often is because don't think you're the only one that gets falsely accused. It happens don't think you're the only one that gets insulted, or so people are apprehensive and suspicious. Everyone, even Sri Krishna had to face this. And so when Krishna hears of this, that people are saying this, or that the brother is saying this, he goes into the forest, he finds the body, he finds that the jewel is missing, he traces the lion's footsteps, he goes to a cave. In this cave, Jambavan, as a bear, is sleeping, sees Krishna, starts fighting with him that, why are you here? This jewel has been given to me by this tiger. The fight goes on for over a month. Krishna manages to convince him that he is. Sri Ram takes the jewel, goes back. By which stage, Sarajit, Parajit, whichever one it is feeling horrible that he has falsely accused Krishna. Jambavan was also feeling horrible that he fought with Krishna for so long and not realizing who Krishna was. And so out of this whole incident, when Jambavan was feeling bad, he gave his daughter in marriage to Krishna, and Parajit felt bad and he gave his daughter in marriage to Krishna. And so Krishna got two wives out of this whole incident. But the main reason I'm telling the story is that now Parajit said, now Krishna, you take this jewel. After all this, you want me to take the jewel? No way. Krishna refused. Because then you'll say, I wanted it all along. He said, no. Now my faith is renewed and what I did was wrong. And actually it should go to you because 8 bars of gold is given every day and it should go into the welfare of the world. And so please, Krishna, you take the jewel. But Krishna refused. But because he was feeling so bad, Krishna said to him, you keep the jewel. But if you so wish, every day when it gives you gold, you give the gold to the kingdom for us to use in the service of people. And this is karma phala tyaga. You do, you keep everything you want to, your desires, your inhibitions, your fears, your likes, your dislikes, everything you want, you keep. And then when the result comes, give it. This much we should be able to do. And then, even though it's not said here in so many words, many masters teaching the Gita will say, actually japa is done all the time. In the first one, fix your mind in me, fix your intellect in me, you can do japa. Abhyasa, you can do japa. Working in the world as a dedication to the Lord, do japa. Here, as you are going to give your phala while you're doing the actions, you are not giving your dedicating it, but even that time, you can do japa. And so japa can pervade all of this, all these different sadhanas and all these different layers, japa can pervade. And so when we do this, we are, like I said, opening our hearts to Bhagwan's will. Means not my will. So I don't feel like I'm giving up too much, but I'm actually giving up the most important thing. My insistence that it has to be this way and this way alone. Every time I catch myself doing that, remember, he knows better. And so allow yourself to trust that he's giving me what is better. Karma, phala, tyagam. But yes, sarva. So every action. At the end of every action, now you take over. I've made a royal mess. So now you, Bhagwan, you please take over. And clean me of this mess that I have made. And that's why I said infinitely compassionate. He will clean us of the mess that we made. And then this next verse is so typically Krishna. Remember I said he transcends the question and he transcends our limitation of understanding things. And so yeah, he built it up. If not this, do this. If not this, do this. If not this, do this. If not this. And so then we think now karma phala tyaga is the lowest of the lowest. So he says,
Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat.
Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat.
Jnanadhyanam vishishyate.
Jnanadhyanam vishishyate.
Dhyanat karma phalatyagaha.
Dhyanat karma phalatyagaha.
Tyagachantiranantaram.
Tyagachantiranantaram. Okay. Shreho hi jnana abhyasa. Better than abhyasa, better than doing the action, any abhyasa. Abhyasa here is not just japa, it could be we do puja, we go to the temple every day, anything that we do on a regular basis, right? Abhyasa. Shreyo hi jnanam. Better than that is knowledge. And we can perfectly understand this. Whatever we're doing, when we do it with knowledge, we benefit more from it. If we know how to do the puja and what is the significance, we do it better. If we know the meaning of the mantra that we are chanting, our mind is more absorbed in it and we have greater clarity in not only what the mantra means, but how it connects me to the Lord and how the divinity plays out in my life. When I understand the symbolisms, when I understand that even though I am worshipping a form, he is essentially formless. Even though I see him as this form of Sri Krishna, he is essence and not a character that has any kind of limitations. And so knowledge helps us to lift ourselves in whatever practice it is that we are doing. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat. Jnana dhyanam vishishtashe. So now once we gain knowledge, pride can creep in. Yeah, I know, so much I know. And we don't do anything with that knowledge except quote it to other people and give advice, even though they don't really want the advice. And compare this person's commentary with that person's commentary. And so here, Krishna is very clear. Jnana dhyanam vishishtate. Better than knowledge is dhyana. My mind is contemplative. My mind is introspective. Dhyanam is translated here as meditation. And meditation can be different levels and forms and depth. But the idea that when I hear something, I think about it. And am I doing that? Am I not doing that? How am I doing that? How can I do that better? Dhyana. Actually, closing my eyes and thinking about karma phala tyaga. And in my heart, feeling that surrender, feeling the relief of letting go and trusting the Lord, and just staying in that space of reverence. That's dhyana, right? It doesn't have to be hours on it. It can be even momentarily when I forge a connect to the divinity which is already there within me. So knowledge, very important to act well. But knowledge is not the highest. The implication of that knowledge and the practice of that knowledge is higher than having the knowledge. Dhyanat karma phala tyagas. Higher than this meditation is karma phala tyaga. So first he said, fix your mind on me is the highest. Then he said, abhyasa is next. Then dedicate actions to me is third. And then fourth was karma phala tyaga. And now he's saying, highest is karma phala tyaga. He's flipped it. And so some people might think he's making us feel better because that's the level we at. You know, like how parents say, no, beta, you the best, even though the kid can barely sing or dance or even, put his clothes on properly. Is that what Bhagwan is doing? Is Bhagwan just putting maska on us? Not at all. The Bhagavad Gita is a profound scripture. It's not one to, just pacify a seeker. And Bhagwan's definitely not going to cajole our ego. That's the last thing he's going to do. Make sure he takes away our ego. And so what's this all about? So we can see it in a few ways. There was a farmer. We're going to the farm a lot in today's class. Instead of in the middle of the battlefield, because some people are tired of going there. So in the farm, Somebody went to the next village and for the first time saw a house with 3 floors and thought, wow, this is like a humongous palace. It's so big and so tall. And the owner of the house said, come, let me show you around. We went through the first floor, second floor, got to the 3rd floor, and it's a terrace. And he looked at the spectacular view that you can see from the 3rd floor. And so far into the horizon you can see. And he thought, this is amazing. So he goes back to his village and he thinks, I want exactly the same. I want a 3rd floor that I can also look into the horizon and enjoy this view. And so he contacts a builder and says, I want to have a house which has 3 floors. And the builder said, I know exactly what you mean. I'm the one who built your friend's house, so I know what to do. The farmer thought, oh, great. So the contractor starts the work. The farmer comes to visit after 3-4 weeks and says, what are you doing? The contractor thought, he must be joking. He says, we're putting the foundation. Why? No, he's definitely joking. He thought, let me just humor him. We're putting the foundation so that we can build the 1st floor. Why are you building a 1st floor? So now the contractor thought, okay, he's not joking. Do we build the 1st floor so we can build the 2nd floor? Who said anything about a 1st floor and a 2nd floor? I said I wanted the 3rd floor. Stop all this work immediately. Good thing I came and checked. I'll save so much time and money. Is it possible? This is all of us. We like the foolish farmer who wants only the 3rd floor when we think we can meditate. The foundation's incredibly important. Without that foundation, you can't have the rest. And so when Bhagwan says karma phala tyaga is the highest, it's because the 1st step is a very important step. And without that 1st step, you can't take all those other steps. Also, in every step, we need karma phala tyaga. So if I'm dedicating everything to the Lord, even then, I need to be able to let go of the fruits of my action. Not that I do everything for the Lord and then I think, okay, now what are you giving me? Then it's ruined. And sometimes, we see people do that. I've seen family members and friends prepare a party and they go all out for their loved one. And then they think, she didn't even say a vote of thanks for me. It's like all that effort, so beautifully, selflessly done and ruined by one selfish thought. What's in it for me now? Why didn't I get something out of it? So I can't dedicate my actions without karma phala tyaga. I have to have mastered karma phala tyaga before I can dedicate my actions. And when I'm doing abhyas, practice, then I can get so irritated. It's not working. I'm trying so hard. It's not working. What's this irritation that I'm having that it's not working? I'm attached to a result. So to be able to do abhyasa, I need to have done. Even while doing my abhyasa, I need to do karma phala tyaga. Otherwise, I'm doing abhyasa and I'm like, did it work? Am I realized? No. Like that kid in the car. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? That's what we'd be doing the whole time. It's like those people who are doing the japa mala and then looking at the mala like, oh God. Karma phala tyaga is, and whatever the result, I have to practice and just sincerely, consistently practice, repeatedly practice. And if I'm interested in, no, in 1 week, I should make this much progress. In 1 month, I should make this much progress. In 1 year, I should get moksha. It doesn't work that way. So even to do abhyas, I need karma phala tyaga. and then fix your mind on me, fix your intellect on me, and stay absorbed in me, of course I need karma phala tyaga. Otherwise, I won't even sit to fix mind on you, because I'll be thinking, where's my whatever it is I want? Mango. Each step of the way, we need karma phala tyaga. And so Bhagavan says it's very important. It's not just your first step. It's every step. You just keep getting better at karma phala tyaga. You think you're going step up, 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 up. Yes, you are, sure. But actually, you're just perfecting karma phala tyaga. So beautiful. So, so, so beautiful. And then Gurudev in his commentary tells us, when we do karma phala tyaga, now I'm not worried about the result. Bhagavan, you worry about the result. And I'm in this moment. I'm here now. And I'm doing what I need to be doing. And a mind that is completely present, which is not going into the past and not going into the future, dissolves. Because our mind works only when it goes into the past and goes into the future. And so if I take away the future and I'm not interested in the results, and I'm not thinking about the past, I'm focused on what I'm doing right now, no mind. I become that perfect instrument, because there's no more noise of thinking of the future. When there's no more me and my mind and the noise my mind makes, I am united with the Lord. Absorption, union, because the me is not there. Karma phala tyaga is incredibly important. And Bhagavan makes it sound like the easiest step, because yes, everything else sounds very hard. But he wants us to know it's as important. And so start somewhere, start anywhere, but start. And then once we start, he does the rest. Really, really, he does the rest. Okay, now we come to the next section in chapter 12. So we saw who Bhagavan is. Did we see who Bhagavan is? Of course we saw. He's Nirguna and he's Saguna. He's both and he's neither. He's whatever we need him to be. And then we saw what is devotion. What was devotion again? Absorption of our mind in the Lord. Oh, yeah. And then we saw obstacles are the vasana pressure not allowing us to stay absorbed, and so steps of what it is we can do. And now we see characteristics of a devotee. This section of chapter 12 is very, very well known. And in fact, our Balvihar students, we do one quality a week with them. And so we can go into it in a lot of depth. But we'll see here Ishara, Adveshta.
Adveshta sarvabhutanam.
Adveshta sarvabhutanam.
Maitra karuna eva cha.
Maitra karuna eva cha.
Nirmamo nirahankaraha.
Nirmamo nirahankaraha.
Samadukha sukhakshami.
Samadukha sukhakshami.
Santushta satatam yogi.
Santushta satatam yogi.
Yatatma dhrida nischayaha.
Yatatma drida nishchayaha.
Mayyarpitamano buddhihi.
Mayyarpitamano buddhihi.
Yo madbhaktas same priyaha.
Yo madbhaktas same priyaha. So these qualities is a perfect devotee. And it's an echo of the Sthita Prajna Lakshana that we saw in chapter 2. these qualities are the same because the goal that we reach is the same, whether it's karma or bhakti or jnana. And so, in fact, we'll be seeing these qualities again fairly soon in the Gita. But here it's here what makes it incredibly sweet is the Lord is saying, Yomad Bhakta Samaya Priyaha. You know, we love the Lord is understandable. We need him or her. And the Lord is compassionate and giving and magnanimous and splendor and brilliant and so easy for us to love because it has all these virtues and magnificent. But here he is saying who he loves. Who does the Lord love? Who is dear to him? And so, of course, we want to be dear to the Lord. And so this is how. This is how we become dear to the Lord, by practicing these qualities. Advaishta sarva bhutanam, to have hatred for no creature. And not just have no hatred, but maitra karuna evacha, to have a friendliness towards all being. Maitra, karuna, a sense of compassion and wanting their welfare. Nirmamo nirahankaraha, to remove this I-ness and my-ness. And actually in the previous verses, when we're talking about acting in the spirit of dedication, we've already understood a little bit about not me and mine, but to think about the Lord. Samadukha sukha kshami, to be equipoised in sorrow and happiness. We saw this earlier too, when he was talking about to meditate on the nirguna aspect of the Lord, we need a mind that is samatvam, equipoised. We didn't see it in too much detail, but we did briefly visit it. Santushta satatam yogi. Satatam always, santushta, peaceful. This yogi is ever peaceful. Yatatma dridhanishchayaha, and completely controlled, self-controlled. Dridha is strong, determined, has conviction. Mayarpita mano buddhihi, having surrendered both mind and intellect, which we saw earlier. Yomad bhakta samepriyaha. So earlier Bhagavan said, this is how to worship. Here Bhagavan is saying, these qualities when we have, we are dear to the Lord. So removing I-ness and my-ness and the sense of welfare for other people. I'll talk a little bit more about it tomorrow, but I'll conclude with another brief story. A man in the village went up to the learned person, the guru in the village, and said, you know, people really irritate me. They're always complaining and criticizing and talking about other people. And I know I'm doing the same by complaining about them. And I don't like that I'm doing that, but they really irritate me. And why can't everybody just mind their own business and stop talking about other people? And why are they minding my business? And so this real angst that he was having. And the person, the guru said, aren't you that man whose life was saved last year? And he said, yes, I was almost killed by a pack of wolves. He said, what happened there? And so he said he had wandered off too far into the forest, and there were these pack of wolves, and they were going to eat him, but he managed to climb up a tree, and they weren't able to reach him in time. And he said, and then what did you do? And he said, well, I waited for them to kind of get relaxed and not focus on me so much. And then I would climb down from that tree, run to the closest tree, like in the direction of the village, and climb up that tree again very quickly before the wolves actually caught me. And he said, God, that must have been really traumatic and horrendous. And he said, yeah, I was so scared. And it was, I don't, to stay awake so that I don't fall off the tree. And I was so hungry and I was so tired, and to constantly be looking at those wolves, it really was an ordeal. And the Guru asked, so tell me something. Were you offended that the wolves were doing that to you? And he said, huh? He said, were you insulted? He said, insulted. He said, yeah, the wolves were trying to kill you. Weren't you offended and insulted? And he replied, no, the thought never crossed my mind. Because that's what wolves do. We'll pause here for today.
Thank you, Swamini ji. Another enlightening talk session today we've had. Some great tips from yesterday. Whenever the mind is disturbed, do japa. And today, like you said, karma phala tyaga, do the best and leave the rest. God will give us what we deserve. But of course, when we keep praying, we are always asking and expecting from the Lord. So it's difficult to accept karma phala tyaga. It's difficult to accept, to give up the results of our actions, and just accept what he gives us. But of course, with abhyas, we hope to get better and to reach that state where we say, okay, I'm not going to ask what is best for me. Go ahead and do that. So thank you so much, Swamini ji, for the talks today. And thank you everyone who's made time to be here today to listen to this wonderful talk. Tomorrow also the talks will be on. It will be the last day, same time and same Zoom link. Please do remember that it's the same Zoom link and it's the same time. So thank you so much and have a good day.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om